And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Schmoes Show. It's like iCarly for guys who think they're too smart for people. I'm your host, the infamous Orion, and I'm a Schmo.
I don't understand that analogy.
Wait, you never seen iCarly?
No, I did, but I don't get why that one's connected.
Oh, okay. We're gonna pretend like that.
Wait, what?
What?
I just don't get it. I'm Chiral. I'm confused.
You've never seen iCarly?
Yes, no, I have.
Okay.
But I just don't get.
Two dudes, two people
I guess.
hammering on shit.
I guess.
Let's Dan Schneider foot fetishes.
Oh no.
Okay, you know, fuck it.
No.
Let's redo
We
that.
don't have Dan Schneider foot fetishes. We get Wizards of the Coast awkward, sexy dinosaur art.
Okay. You know, fuck it. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Schmoes Show. I'm keeping that last bit in because it's just so fucking awkward.
And I'm Chiral.
How you doing today, Kyril?
I'm doing good.
That's good.
Oh man.
What?
Twitter's dead. Long live the alt Twitter.
Mm-hmm. I'm kind of going to see right now what Twitter is doing right now.
Oh, nothing good, I'm sure. What's trending? Oh, FIFA, of course it is.
Oh, that makes sense. FIFA?
FIFA?
FIFA.
What's all with these stupid Americans calling it football? Football is played on a pitch. Ironically, I think that's the part of the World Cup that's made the internet less usable than anything else, has been the stupid, pointless discussion about soccer versus football.
I don't get it. Like, I
It's dumb, and it doesn't matter.
yeah, it just needs to stop.
Mm-mm. Soccer sucks. Let's just all agree with that. It's the truth, and then we'll just move on with our lives.
Soccer is tolerable by my standards.
Watch more hockey. Hockey is the far superior sport.
MMA is for the far superior sport.
I guess so. I'm thinking team sports, but that's fair.
Can we do team MMA?
Only once.
That would be so amazing. I want team UFC.
I think at that point you're just talking like WWE practically.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But that would also be really dangerous to have like not fake punches with multiple people.
Dude, imagine it though, like the strats that would come through. Okay, we're going to gang up on the big one, and then we'll take down his lackeys. It's like the smaller ones afterwards.
No, I just want to mean like from the perspective of someone like actually breaking their neck.
Yes.
There's just so much of boxing and kickboxing and MMA that's anticipating when you're gonna get hit to not fucking die when you do get hit that just wouldn't work in any sort of multi-person brawl.
That's why it would work. It's life or death. I just don't think you're getting it. You're not seeing the charm in this. Like team fencing.
I've never seen it. Is that a thing?
No.
I've never seen it. Oh, okay. But yeah, the World Cup's a thing. There's a bunch of memes about the US versus UK game and how the winner would get to decide whether it is football or soccer, and the loser would have to keep James Corden. And then, in order to make everybody unhappy, it ended in a draw.
So can we just like dump James Corden in the middle of the fucking ocean and then
I wish.
we
Yeah, let's split the difference.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
He's already going to be in the Little Mermaid movie. We all know it's going to be just like perfect. He's already studied for this.
Mm-hmm. Is he really in the Little Mermaid movie?
I think he is. I think he's Flounder.
Oh.
Let me double check that.
I need to give it a chance, but maybe not anymore.
How did James Corden get this far in life?
I have to imagine he has like some sort of generational wealth.
Mm.
Let's check the Wikipedia.
Because like I've never found him that good at anything. I recognized him actually in an episode of Doctor Who the other day, which kind of blew my mind. He's got an OBE. How did James Corden get this
How
fucking?
the hell does he have an OBE?
The Queen must have thought he was fucking hilarious. His father was a musician in the central band of the Royal Air Force and later became the salesman of Christian books and Bibles. Mother was a social worker who grew up in Hazelmire, Buckinghamshire. Why can't you guys just use like two syllable names? And attended Park Middle School and Homer Green Upper School. He has two sisters.
Apparently, there was a particular British TV sitcom, Gavin and Stacey, that pushed him into larger prominence in the UK, at least. This is good. Good shade, Wikipedia. Very nice. In 2009, Corden starred as the lead character in the film Lesbian Vampire Killers, which was not successful.
Yeah, I can see that.
I can't see why. Um, yeah, I mean, it seems, frustratingly, it seems like he just did hard work over multiple decades to get to the position he has now.
How dare you be honorable, James Corden? How dare you find something likable about yourself for me to like?
I'd be really curious to go back and see some of this earlier work. Gavin and Stacey, it seems like, was the one that really broke out his career. And then prior to that, something called Fat Friends. Because at least I think for most uh like American perspective at least, we never got any of that shit.
Yeah,
So when we first see him, it's with the Late Late Show thing that is just like the most prototypical late night talk show schlock where nothing of interest happens.
yeah.
And we can look to plenty of other examples with like Stephen Colbert and how a comedian's comedy style gets pretty heavily diluted in order to meet that much more generic broad appeal formatting.
I really think late night television is probably the killer of all comedy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it really just seems like it is. I'd be curious to see because with the lens of it being a late night show, we don't really get to see his comedy style.
You're right.
In particular, it seems like with this Gavin and Stacey thing, he was like a writer on it, one of the co-writers, which would I would expect at least give him ample opportunity for his own style to really shine through.
Oh well, James Corden.
2019, Gavin and Stacey returned for a Christmas special, with the episode achieving the highest Christmas Day viewership in the UK for more than a decade.
What the fuck is this Gavin and Stacey show? Like the funniest thing of all time?
It seems to be remarkably successful.
It's a,
Co-wrote the series. Corden and Jones played the friends of the title characters. Corden starred as Smithy. The
why
series
does
proved
it have a
popular and was well
97%?
received critically. Yeah. Corden won Best Male Comedy Performer, and Gavin and Stacey won Best New British TV Comedy at the 2007 British Comedy Awards, the 2008 BAFTAs. Corden won the BAFTA for Best Male Comedy Performance. Gavin and Stacey won the BAFTA for Program of the Year. Not just comedy, but Program of the Year. In December, the TV won Best TV Comedy in the 2008 British Comedy Awards. Gavin Stacey also won the award for Most Popular Comedy Program at the National Television Awards in 2010.
What is this?
People seem to like it, but we just never got it, so we just skip straight to this cringe, and it's awful.
James. Can we cut the
And
late
then,
night show and just put in Gavin and Stacey? I'm really curious.
yeah, and then there was also Cats, which,
I,
yeah,
I've seen that, by the way.
have you?
This is what happens when your girlfriend likes musicals, Kyril. Stay single.
Oh. How is it?
It is a movie that is got it it it's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I
Yeah.
tried finding any way to develop a witty response, some witticisms to perfectly describe the plain black of schlock that this movie is. And seriously, there's nothing about it that's remotely appealing. In fact, I heard there's a cut of the movie where they didn't edit out the buttholes in the cats, and at least the offensiveness of the buttholes would be funny to watch.
Yeah.
But
Do you agree with the like the generic general sideways his take on it?
yes,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that movie that's worth watching. It's kind of not even worth it to get upset about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a shame because the original musical is great.
The funny thing is, I've never heard the original musical. So after
Yeah.
watching this, I went back to listen to those original performances, and it's really upsetting what they did to this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they fucked it up.
This is like going to a high school performance, and you know the popular kids got their roles and where they did, but they may have not been the best picks for those characters. You can smell the nepotism that created that production that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Yes.
One other thing that I'm noticing here on his Wikipedia page, looking at his filmography, it is of course much, much shorter than his TV filmography. And all of the movies, without exception, that I've heard of are bad. It's like a hit list of bad animated children's comedies.
Mm.
Norm of the North, Trolls, The Emoji Movie, uh, Trolls World Tour. It's like, wow, you really got in on all of them. Oh yeah, the Peter Rabbit movie, which they apparently are making a sequel to.
Why?
Idea.
I'm just so.
Smallfoot. Yeah, that is a movie that released. Well, definitely have to put a pin in that. Have to figure out why it is that what happened between Gavin and Stacey in the Late Late Show where it all went so wrong.
Did he play Gavin?
I would assume so.
Then I'm going to guess it was Stacy all along. That was the peak comedy.
I don't know. He co-wrote it.
Was Stacy?
Um, yeah, it seems like it.
Okay.
Uh, James Corden and Ruth Jones co-wrote the series, Gavin and Stacey playing the title characters. So it's got to be one or the other.
So
Oh
weird.
no, sorry, played the friends of the title characters.
Okay.
So they are not the title characters, but they are largely involved in the show.
I'm so confused, but okay.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You know, it's not confusing.
What?
Twitter alternatives. It couldn't be clearer. There's only one option.
And it is.
You want to take a guess? I haven't mentioned it to you yet, but I think having skimmed through some of these lists, it's very clear what the answer is.
Um. Truth Social.
Mm. No,
What?
I am of the opinion that the future of social media is going to be Clubhouse.
What is Clubhouse?
Clubhouse is an audio only app where people talk to each other in a live podcast forum. When someone is speaking, their profile icon lights up.
Did they not learn the lesson of Xbox Live Chat?
Yeah.
That
After users join Clubhouse, they can listen to a variety of topics, including sports, business, finance, literature, and parenting. Unlike Twitter, there are no videos, images, or text posts, only profile photos and voices.
So
It is literally taking like Audible and mushing it together with a Discord chat.
I want to know why they thought that was a smart idea.
I don't know. I want to know why TechTarget.com thinks that is the number one best Twitter alternative. That's what I want to know.
Because they were paid by Clubhouse. Duh.
Boy. Uh, as a start of what I think will be a reoccurring pattern that we'll see here, there are no ads on Clubhouse. Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Which means that you are the product.
So you're telling me they put you in these chats with strangers to get your opinions on things in what are obviously recorded calls, and there are no ads?
Yes. It's really weird because it doesn't like they have this title on this article, 8 best Twitter alternatives, and then you look through most of them are like other social medias generally. Um we'll get to some of the other ones later though. But then they have Clubhouse right here at the top, and it doesn't sound like that is what Clubhouse is meant for. It really sounds like it's meant to be more of an audio only equivalent of Zoom, where you don't necessarily even need an account. You can just send somebody a link to the website and make basically a meeting space to allow a bunch of people to just get together in a room digitally and just talk.
I don't
It's weird.
understand why they think that would be a good idea because
I don't either,
I,
but they went and did it.
gamer online chat rooms are toxic enough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they are.
Twitter is toxic enough.
Mm-hmm.
Combining those two
Well,
things,
so the key thing though is that I think with this, um, because they talk about it more from the perspective of scheduling an event, it seems much more. And what was the other one they talked about? Sports, business, finance, literature, and parenting. I think it's more geared towards, business meetings or uh, older social groups, not kids, at least. Because, like, what child wants to use this garbage?
uh, they don't. They want to play on their PlayStation because that at least has a game attached to it.
Yep, pretty much. Let's run down these, though. I'm going to skim through the obvious ones that I think are dumb, but are technically social medias. So, Discord. Discord is not a Twitter equivalent. Do not go to Discord if you're trying to get off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Discord's great. It's not a Twitter equivalent. LinkedIn. LinkedIn is garbage, and it's been garbage for years.
LinkedIn is only cool because people with money say it's cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is like full on alpha male rise and grind circle jerk now.
The only reason I have a LinkedIn is so no one else
Mm-hmm.
can have a LinkedIn with my name.
Yes, by all means, make a LinkedIn account, post your resume so it's searchable, but don't use it as a social media.
No. No, 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 no.
Okay, and the last one that I think is dumb on this list is something that's called WT Social, short for Wiki Tribune Social. A platform created by Wikipedia co founder Jimmy Wales has the same philosophy as Wikipedia and runs on donations instead of advertising. WT Social users can create, join, and contribute to what the site refers to as subwikis by microblogging about topics. Users can also share links within their subwikis with other users for discussion. It
Yeah, go.
seems like this isn't a social media as much as it is Wikipedia adding a comment section that they're moderating.
It sounds like Wikipedia where they catalog your tweets into, you know, better catalog systems, which is stupid. Why would you catalog
Oh, this
something like
is
that?
weird. Moderators and other users can flag and edit misleading posts and links to help prevent disinformation, and I'm sure that won't ever be abused ever.
Oh shit. Making a social media website is hard.
Okay, let's talk some of the like actual possible alternatives out there.
Okay.
One you brought up, counter social.
Yes.
So what have you heard about it? Because I had not heard of this one before.
So my understanding of it was that Counter Social was pretty much made as a less big corporation, fake news driven aggregate site for more of the social aspects, less about like the aggregation factor that we see with Twitter. So I know very little about this website, to be honest. I just know the owner of it advertises it all the fucking time on Twitter.
Yeah. So skimming through their definition here, Counter Social states that there are no ads, trolls, fake news, or abuse on their platform. Social media platform is not available everywhere, being blocked in China, Iran, and Russia, among other countries. Counter Social offers news, live streaming, and the ability to create communities. Users determine the content on Counter Social. They can also create columns on its user interface to sort posts by topics, hashtags, and users. Users can share, like, and comment on posts. A video chat feature is also included. It sounds at least like it is trying to be in the sort of same vein as like Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah,
They're not doing anything particularly novel, but they don't really necessarily need to.
it just sounds like if you're tired of Twitter, try this. But you'll just go
Mm-hmm.
back to Twitter.
Yep. Next one is
Yes,
one that I've heard a lot about, Mastodon.
yes.
And it sounds not great for people who aren't especially tech savvy. And I'm not surprised that it's gotten a huge boost because of the, I'm going to say, disproportionate number of people who work in development and programming that are on Twitter and are not happy with the direction the platform is going. But Mastodon in particular is a decentralized social media where its software is open source and by virtue of being so allows users to create and host their own communities. Literally, like it would be like it seems like Discord, but there's like a little advanced button that you can click and change it to be exactly how you want, for good or worse.
Can it be for good?
It can be, but I don't trust the internet to do make that decision ever.
uh, it sounds, I don't know. These all just sound like weaker versions of Twitter.
Yeah.
One big thing I have a question on,
Mm-hmm.
what's the point of being on these when Twitter has the better installed base?
I believe that the majority of it is trying to find uh, an alternative that doesn't have Elon Musk on it.
Fair enough. Let's continue.
Yeah. As well as, so to be fair, most of this, in particular, like Mastodon especially, got a huge boost from a whole bunch of noise that was literally nothing, where people were acting like Twitter was literally about to collapse.
Mm-hmm.
So this was right at, it was just bred from, misinformation. Right when Twitter was doing the large waves of firing and severance, and they put out that company-wide email that was basically like, pick yes or no, work 80 hours per week or 30, or no, 3 months severance. And the vast majority of the people were just like, yeah, 3 months pay, fuck you, Elon.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people got really concerned about what that would mean for site infrastructure because we were coming up on, our American Thanksgiving here. The World Cup was just about to start on that weekend, and people were concerned that with that increased traffic, that if something went wrong, they wouldn't be able to fix it. That realistically was never a concern. The hardware side of Twitter, the actual physical servers, are all run by Amazon. It's all Amazon Web Services. So the idea of Twitter actually going down in the first place is very slim. What the people at Twitter do is work on updates and feature additions. And when those people aren't there, It's not good because, you need to have people to work with advertisers in order to keep that being, keep that moving and working on feature updates in order to stay competitive with, your competitors. But it wasn't like the site was actually going to implode. But being the internet, nobody thought about it for more than 2 seconds and immediately started scrambling to try and make as many accounts as they could on as many other social media platforms, particularly brought on by influencer types, people who are much wider known, looking to make sure that they could secure their name on these other platforms before somebody else could try and scalp it from them.
Mm.
So you had a lot of social media users, like larger users, being like, hey, this probably isn't going to happen, but I made this, and this account just in case. Here's where you can find me. And that pitched it all into a fervor. And
Oh,
then, as we sit here now on the 27th, with more than half of the group stage finished, and American Thanksgiving being done, Black Friday being done, Twitter still hasn't gone down because it really never was at risk of going down in the first place. But Mastodon and some of these others got a nice bump to their numbers for their, inevitable shareholders. I don't actually think any of these are like traded, but venture capital maybe it looks good.
hey, yeah.
But yeah, Mastodon got a huge bump. They sound really not user friendly for the vast majority of people. They
It
have an
sounds too
interesting idea
advanced.
being,
Yeah.
yeah, being decentralized is an interesting idea because literally being decentralized, if you're a part of a server or even like some prefabricated one and you don't like it, you can just go and make your own. There's nothing that stops you. But the downside of that is that each server is completely independently moderated,
Mm.
which poses its own very obvious risks, and it doesn't have, I don't believe, uh, I guess I don't know about this, but from the way that it's talked about being decentralized, it doesn't sound like they use a central uh, hardware setup like Amazon Web Services does for Twitter, where it's all in one place. I would have to assume they have options for people to distribute it onto their own equipment to host it.
Yeah. What's next on our list?
Next up, Reddit, actually.
What?
So Reddit's not new,
Yeah.
obviously.
Hmm.
I'm gonna actually group these together: Reddit and Tumblr.
Okay.
Reddit and Tumblr are both options that have been around for a while, and people generally don't really think about. But I think Tumblr in particular, people should keep it on their radar because it is getting a serious resurgence. It didn't die when they went and banned porn.
Hmm.
It was a good meme, and it definitely lost them a lot of traffic, but it is still strong and going, and both sites are fine for what they do. Neither is especially a replacement for Twitter. Tumblr in particular, I'm not fond of the way that their site is set up, but they are both effective and entertaining social media platforms that are still out there. So I figured just going through a couple of these lists, it might as well just throw them out there just in case.
It would be so funny to me if Tumblr resurges and takes over Twitter.
The thing that they did, do you see the verification thing that they did?
No.
It was great. So Elon launched I don't know if it was $5 or $8, whatever the paid verification Twitter Blue thing was.
Yep.
Tumblr responded by launching their own verification, where you can pay $5 and you get a blue check next to your name on their website. Only you can do it as many times as you want, and each time you do it, you get another blue check.
No.
So you could go and buy, I think it maxed out at 24, but you could go and buy 24 blue checks that would get stuck on the end of your name. And it
That
was just completely as a joke, but it was great.
that's a good way to spite people.
It was. And it was a really effective way of just showing how, yeah, Tumblr's all right. They're fine.
Tumblr's heart is in the right place.
Mm-hmm. Even if they're, well, I'm not going to say that.
What?
I was going to make a porn joke, but
Oh.
that would have been a bit crude. I think it would have been funny though. But yeah. So yeah, going to some of the other options. Let me skim this other list. I pulled up another list, but didn't really look at it too closely. Okay, we'll get to that one. Um, There's a bunch of options on here. I like this one that's called Rafter, but that's mostly because its icon is a little odder, and I think that's cute. Oh my god, their YouTube has 34 subscribers. That's adorable.
That's more than us.
I know, but like we don't have a business. Initially a social network based on around unfolding news stories, Rafter has pivoted to become a community building platform for universities. Okay, it's a Discord equivalent.
Oh,
There is Plurk, which is too cute of a name to find real success, I don't think. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna actually check this out. With a 360 character limit, Plurk utilizes a horizontal timeline with messages summarized by single verbs, feels, loves, etc.
no.
Plurks can be liked and emoticons used. Engaging with the site grows karma, unlocking more emoticon.
That's so weird.
In many ways, the service is indistinguishable from Twitter, but is overall a friendlier place. What the hell is a horizontal timeline?
Instead
That's
of
what I'm curious
scrolling up
about.
and down, you scroll left and right.
I have to assume that, but that sounds so unfriendly for mobile because phones are skinnier than they are tall. That's why vertical things are the way that they are because that's generally how we read.
Yeah.
It's apparently founded in 2008 and is especially popular in Taiwan. Name Clerk has several meanings, such as being a portmanteau of play and lurk, or as an acronym of peace. Oh, okay, plurk. Peace, love, unity, respect, and karma.
Mm.
I want to check it out just because of that horizontal timeline thing. That sounds like quirky for the sake of being quirky and in not a good way. Um, but if it is like as it's presented there, that would be a legitimate option. We're going to talk about Counter Social co-host. I've heard this name mentioned before. It's still in its early days. Co-host is built for sharing whatever you want. Interface resembles Tumblr and Facebook and is ad-free. A monthly or annual subscription service affords enhanced access to the site, larger uploads, customization options. That's similar to how Discord works, where the actual site itself is used for free, and you can pay to have more advanced features.
Okay.
Oh yes, this is the one that you like can't actually post yet to because they have a backlog. Uh, Notable co-host quote will never sell your data, sell ads, or sell the company to anybody who might change these policies to make a quick buck.
Hmm.
And even more critically, it doesn't have a mobile app.
Ooh.
So dead on arrival right there.
What's the point of what they're doing?
I know, right? And I guess it sounds like it's a very early one. I think is it this one? No, that's a different one. Um, there's a lot of these that are springing up in the wake of Twitter starting to sort of crumble a bit, and they're of dubious merit, but their heart seems to be in the right place
Seems.
so far. Next one we have here is Getter, which I have never heard of, but it sounds way too much like Imgur for me to take it seriously. Claiming to be a marketplace of ideas, Getter offers multiple sign-up options from phone or email to Google, so you just link it to other shit. Founded on the principles of free speech, independent thought, and rejecting political censorship. Oh, okay.
I'm getting really sick of that little tagline.
It's a budget parlor.
That's so
We
funny.
have Amino available as a mobile app. Amino can be installed on Google Play or App Store. Good, you passed the first hurdle. Oh, it's similar to Mastodon. Never mind. I am very much of the opinion that you can't make a social network based on that idea. Once you get into the realm of like how Discord operates, you can't like because I really struggle to think of whether Discord is a social network or not. Like in a strict definition, it is, but it just functions so differently than anything that we think of when we think of the realm of like Facebook and Twitter. That it really makes it hard to compare them.
Discord to me is more of a communications app because
Mhm.
it's
Yeah.
not so much about aggregation of content like most social media apps use. as much as it is about communication in general, like actual peer to peer conversation.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, okay. I guess we're gonna get into this one now. Here's the alt-right Twitter equivalents.
Oh no.
Gab, people and free speech first, known as the alt-right alternative to Twitter.
That was that at least they're up front.
While a free speech focused service might not seem unreasonable, Gab was banned in 2016 from the Apple App Store. In 2017, meanwhile, Google removed the app from the Play Store, noting that Gab had failed to demonstrate a sufficient level of moderation, including for content that encourages violence and advocates hate group against group of people. Hmm.
Hmm.
And I think that's why we haven't really heard about it. Uh, then we have the two obvious ones being Truth Social and Parler. Parler is apparently still a thing, being recently purchased by Kanye West.
Why won't you
Um,
die? Oh no, I killed Kyril.
no, I'm not dead yet. I
Oh,
just feel like it. Parler is a thing. Truth Social is a thing. Did we talk about how Trump is realistically never going to be coming back to Twitter?
why
I
do you
think we
say
did.
that?
Well, because he has his exclusivity agreement with Truth Social.
Oh yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, I thought we did. I feel like these are the kind of apps that, if you think they're for you, you probably already are there.
Yeah, that's why I feel like with a lot of these Twitter alternatives.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then we have Post, which is in a similar position as co-host, meaning that it sounds great, but you can't actually use it yet.
Hmm.
And the one that stood out to the most to me being Hive Social. It's founded in 2019. It's available as a mobile app, both on Apple, has an Android beta, has a chronological feed, which is personally how I use Twitter already,
Yeah.
where I get rid of the algorithm shit because I just want to see like the people that I actually am following and what they're saying. Um, it says it does not do shadow banning or prioritization of any accounts. App promises to bring back what you used to love about social media in a new way, quote unquote. Some aspects of Hive, like profile music, harken to a simpler time, namely the MySpace era. Very photo forward, like Instagram or Tumblr. And then, yeah, it just seems like it seems fine.
Yeah.
One of the few actual possible alternatives that might actually be out there.
At this point, I really don't think we'll ever get an alternative to Twitter.
Probably not. Check out. Because they're not. Oh, right. I think I missed this. Hive doesn't have a desktop app, which is a bit awkward.
Why would they do that?
Does it work? Curious. I know Microsoft has been working on letting you run like Android apps on desktop, but I'd imagine it's more. It comes down to the different way that desktop and mobile devices do processing. That's
Hmm.
the big thing that the M1 Mac series type things did is that because they use a processor with a fundamentally different architecture than the typical, AMD and Intel CPUs do,
Mm-hmm.
it allows them to like one to one translate mobile apps to a desktop environment and vice versa. Whereas with the sort of traditional paradigm, you have to have an extra layer in between there to do that translation. And you can do it. It's just not always completely accurate. Like maybe not even like not always. It's not completely accurate and it is resource intensive.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate them not wanting to just mess with that in the first place. And in particular, not wanting to mess around with having to handle uh, whichever website someone is trying to go to your app from, you know, those can also be met with varying levels of compatibility. Yeah. Twitter's not dead yet. It just looks like it.
You can still poke it with a stick.
Yeah. And if Twitter does die, your boy Elon's got your back
Oh, he does?
because he's promised, he's going on the record to say that if Twitter, you know, dies by means of being removed from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, he will make it his job to make a new smartphone that people can use Twitter on.
No.
No one's ever done this before, though. It's a completely novel idea. They're trying to compete with Apple and Google for the first time ever. It's going to
No.
revolutionize the social media space and the smartphone space all at once. How much does a Windows phone cost nowadays? $5? Is it free? Are people
Windows.
giving them away?
Oh, look, a Black
$40.
Friday sale, 200% off.
$40 for an old
$40.
Windows phone.
I forgot these things existed. Oh my gosh. I have one that's like a listing for a Windows phone.
Yeah.
And it's unlocked.
Wow. Apparently, people really like the Amazon Fire phone. I actually heard people talk about that when this stupid thing. So this is the gist of it. Somebody tweeted out. I don't know who this is. Who are you? Who are you? Uh, they're a person. Their web Twitter page here looks pretty damn generic.
Mm.
Uh, if Apple and Google boot Twitter from their app stores, which is being discussed about quite seriously as Twitter gave the appearance of its moderation starting to fail.
Hmm.
If Apple and Google boot Twitter from their app stores, Elon Musk should produce his own smartphones. Half the country would happily ditch the bias snooping phone and Android. The man built rockets to Mars. A silly little smartphone should be easy, right? To which Elon responded, he completely took the bait. I certainly hope it does not come to that, but yes, if there is no other choice, I will make an alternative phone.
All
And
I
then all the
heard was
fanboys rejoiced.
slurp, slurp, slurp. I love licking boots.
Yep. Yep. I love this. Someone just responded, good luck with that, bro.
Don't you know we can just have the Tesla phone?
Yeah. But I did actually hear people start to talk about this, mostly on Reddit, just sort of reminiscing about these old smartphones that were released. And apparently, like, I had never heard about it at the time, but for the Amazon Fire phone, apparently the people that did actually get it really enjoyed using it.
Really?
Yeah. I don't remember the exact details of it, but it was a combination apparently of both being um really well made along with being relatively cheap at the time.
Mm.
And even though it wasn't feature competitive, it was still uh at the time good enough for the people that wanted it. Oh, here we go. This is a good one though. So the Facebook phone, I didn't realize this, was originally offered at $100, and AT&T dropped its price now to 99 cents at one point.
There's a Facebook phone?
Yeah, it was the HTC First, which was unofficially known as the Facebook phone.
That's an ugly ass phone.
Mm-hmm.
That looks like a Blackberry.
Part of the HTC First's failure can be traced back to the reason why it was created, the Android skin that Facebook promised would put people first. Facebook Home dominates the user's phone's experience. While there are shortcuts to get you to your favorite apps, it's a jarring change and one that some people weren't ready for.
Hmm.
That said, it does demonstrate, and I think Microsoft, with the Microsoft Windows phones, um, did well to learn from the massive failure of the Facebook phone, in that between even in like the Apple space, there is a relatively solid amount of customization People want to be able to use the device in the way that suits them best. And you can take that to a ridiculous extremes on, Android and other similar platforms where it's basically open source to a degree. But nobody wants to buy a phone. Like I'm sure, okay, maybe not nobody, but like no sane person wants to buy a phone that their homepage of their phone is just fucking Facebook. That sounds deplorable.
I don't know. I can see it working out just fine. What are you talking about?
What could go wrong?
You just can't get enough of that Facebook, Gotta own the libs on Facebook.
Mm,
Yeah. This doesn't sound like it's enabling a bad habit at all.
I don't know.
Ugh.
So yeah, just to sort of bring this all back around, this started off with, I believe, originally the first poll that Elon did with whether or not Trump was going to be brought back, where it, a whole bunch of crap happened, and what do you know? Trump got brought back. No one saw this coming. It wasn't at all something he said he was going to do anyways. And extended to Musk vying to bring back banned Twitter accounts that were banned for hate speech violations of Twitter's terms of service. That was sort of the catalyst that pushed the various regulators of Google and Apple's app stores to consider the possibility of Twitter being delisted. We talked about it just then with Gab, how it was delisted from those app stores when it violated their requirements for moderation. Um, Twitter is towing a similar line with this by effectively undoing all of the moderation that it had done up to this point. One of the things that Elon has been pretty regularly going on about is the idea of Twitter being a free speech platform, sort of thing, which is all well and good until it has to deal with the reality of that situation, where currently it is distributed through other groups. Its servers are hosted on Amazon. Websites are generally going through Google Chrome because pretty much everything is, or Safari. And in order for the actual app to be distributed, up to now, it does it through the various app stores. And those aren't public, town hall square type things, as he likes to describe it. They're privately held, privately controlled, and typically have their own requirements for criteria that needs to be met in order to have applications be listed on them in the first place, and the criteria for delisting those applications should that change. And Twitter is towing that line, and we'll have to see if anything actually comes about from that. Currently, most of it just seems to be, various amounts of posturing and curtailing to Elon's fan base that I'm sure has no bots in it at all. Uh,
He bought Twitter only because there weren't enough bots.
yeah,
Yeah.
you got to pump those numbers up.
Yeah.
But I think that's all I have for Twitter updates. A couple of good new alternatives, though.
Yeah. We'll have to see
Go
where they
find out
go.
what a plurk is.
There's otters out there as well, so that's pretty nice.
In other news, the Supreme Court officially has given the House permission to receive Trump's tax returns.
Oof.
It was a pretty spicy two-liner that they gave for it. The application for stay of the mandate presented to the Chief Justice and by him referred to the court is denied. The order heretofore, entered by the Chief Justice is vacated. There's a really good article that I was reading about this, talking with one of the current House politicians a Democrat working on this, asked why they still want Trump's tax returns when there is such little time left for the January 6th committee now that the Republicans have taken control of the House, and it seems all but certain that they'll be moving to dissolve it. And it was, not in any specific details, but it was, it rang true, I felt, talking about, fighting on principle to follow through with the reasons that they started to go through with this, as well as, making sure that people have the information that they should when it comes to these sorts of financial disclosures that Trump failed to do pretty much entirely.
Yeah, 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 a
So
little.
yeah, the House of Representatives will be moving to obtain Trump's tax returns, and from there, we will hopefully start to see some more information from that. Can't wait to see how many zeros of dollars he paid.
He'd probably get negative, dude.
I mean, you're not wrong. That was a key part of their strategy for a long time was to give the appearance of like overpaying so that they could get massive rebates in future years.
Exactly.
But oh no, sorry, I have one more.
Oh,
Uh, the election was weeks ago, but the actual results of some of the races are still trickling their way down. And I thought it was cool that this week, Democrat Mary Peltola defeated Sarah Palin for Alaska's House of Representatives seat.
wait. Sarah Palin lost?
Yeah. First Alaskan native to win a special election and now the first to be reelected.
That's pretty badass. I am
I
glad
will
the.
say,
Yep.
whatever tiny amount of credit it might be, where it is due, Palin is apparently quite a close friend with Peltola and accepted defeat graciously, just as she did during the special election that Peltola won last year, I believe. It was either last year or earlier this year. So Palin might be a blatant conservative mouthpiece, but she's tolerable for her neighbors, I guess.
Oh yeah, don't you know? No, that's not what she sounds like. I forgot
No,
what.
that's like Minnesota.
Yeah, it's been so long since we all made fun of her when she was McCain's running mate that it's just
Mm-hmm.
she's kind of exited my public conscience.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Let's talk about some popular media news.
Popular
This
media
week,
news.
we had the final episode of Andor air, and it good. It's very good. Curious if Rotten Tomatoes has their little tomato meter thing for it. They do. 93%. I'd
Mm,
agree with that. It's
mm.
very good. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say it is the best piece of live action Star Wars media released since the what would it be? One sec. I gotta find the names here because I want to get it wrong, and I would definitely get it wrong. Why aren't these in order? Google, do your fucking job.
Wait, did they just give you the Star
Um,
Wars movies without like any order?
yeah, it's just completely random. It seems like
It's pro-
Empire Strikes Back, best live action Star Wars media since Empire Strikes Back.
wow, that's saying a lot.
It is, but I think it's accurate. It does better than anything to show where it is the rebellion came from, what the on the ground environment was that led to people. Because like we see the very high level stuff, right,
Mhm.
amongst the Jedi and the Sith, where you have these blatant representations of good versus evil, and the Sith are of course evil. Um, but we don't ever really see what it is that the Sith are doing that pushes people to rebellion. You know, there's a large gap of time between uh Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, when the Sith really starts to, and the Empire in general, starts to exert its pressure, until we get to A New Hope, where that boils over with outright, war, effectively.
Hmm.
And this does a really good job of showing us what exactly happens that gets to that point. Why are the people so upset? Why is it that there is a rebellion in the first place? What are they rebelling against? Because Emperor Palpatine might be out there, but the average person doesn't fucking care about that. They care about what's happening on their town, on their planet, and how they're being personally screwed over by the Empire. And it does an excellent job of showing not just that, but how people who can be indifferent at the start can be pushed to care by the Empire's actions.
Mm.
Highly recommend it.
I'm trying to see if I know anybody in this cast listing.
You should, a couple of them at least.
Um, I'm
Like if you've seen Rogue One, you'll recognize a few of them.
I don't know. I'm terrible with celebrity faces.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The big one is Diego Luna as Cassian Andor. He's the pilot in Rogue One that it goes with Jyn Erso through that whole story.
Huh. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, yeah. He is the main character in this one, and it shows his progress from just being a guy trying to get by to being like a lieutenant of the rebellion.
I do recognize Andy Serkis here, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, his character is incredible.
How does Andy Serkis gone this long without being in a Star Wars property? He's like prime
Yeah,
Star Wars material.
you'd think.
The man is.
Andy Serkis is great. Stellan Skarsgård is great. Forrest Whitaker is great. Genevieve O'Reilly also great. Took me a really long time for it to click with her character, but I can show you. She plays this one.
Ooh,
Because
ooh.
it took me a really long time to be just like, oh yeah, I have seen you in the original movies.
I was about to say I recognize her from the original movies.
Yeah, but like in her the way that they do the character makeup, because a different actor, of course, because it's 60 years later
Mhm.
or 50 years later. It I never knew the character's name because it was never particularly pertinent to the original story. It's just one of the rebel leaders. And having that sort of click is just like, oh yeah, I get it now.
You're that one person from that one scene.
Yeah, you're important. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
but yeah, well deserving of the accolades and positive reception that it's been getting, I think. And it does it completely outside of talking about the Force and all that shit, which is very refreshing. These
D-
aren't Jedi or Sith; these are just people.
is the Force mentioned at least once, or was we totally Force free?
I can't say definitively if it is never mentioned, but it is never a particularly it's not like a concept that they're talking with. Maybe there's like a passing mention of it, but it would be passing at most.
That's interesting.
Like these are not people that necessarily even care that the Jedi exist. Like the idea that, because I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be set like in that time period, like leading up to or just following when the Jedi Temple is destroyed.
Hmm.
So there's these very obvious uh, political signs, right, in the universe at large leading up to this point. But those politics are particular to the legislative bodies. They don't really impact the actual people. What impacts the actual people is having, stormtroopers patrolling your streets, enforcing curfews, interrogating people who they think might be dissidents.
Mm.
It's shit like that that really drives the motivations of these people, the direct actions that are happening to them and their family members by these outsiders. Yeah, it's very good. Highly recommend it.
But you know what?
What's that?
It crumbles behind the one true blockbuster sci-fi event of the year.
What's that?
Avatar: The Way of Water.
Guess we'll see.
My mother was talking about how she wants to go see it. I'm like, are you sure about that?
Why?
Because she did like the original Avatar.
I mean, the original Avatar is fine. I I hope. So the part that I was most interested in hearing about from the original Avatar was the amount of groundwork that it did in developing a true, accurate native group on the planet that they were on.
Mm-hmm.
They did so much work to make sure that their representation of a native group was both appropriate and accurate historically to like the anthropological constants that we know happen culturally as these societies develop. That was, I think, going in and seeing some of like the behind the scenes things, the by far the most interesting thing. Like, because anybody can run a supercomputer and pump out pretty high res images, right?
Yeah,
But you have to put in real work and actually give a shit to go the extra mile to make sure that your representation, your analog for large groups of people isn't insulting, especially in 2012 where the vast majority of mass majority of people probably wouldn't even known, let alone known to care about that representation.
you bring up a great point.
And they did a damn good job of it, looking at a ton of different aspects from dress to like tools and how things are crafted and how people historically anthropologically interact with their environment, and it was really cool to see that in a movie. So if they can keep that element of it accurate and not cut that in order for larger appeal, I will be curious at least, but I still can't see myself seeing it in theaters.
It needs to be the third highest grossing movie of all time to make its budget back. Well, to be profitable.
Technically, but that budget is between both the second and third one
Yeah,
because they're both filming concurrently. So between the next two that release, it needs to make that back.
yes.
So it has, cause I've heard that thrown around a bit, and it is a good headline and not necessarily wrong, but it has that asterisk next to it of there's also still a whole third movie that that budget is accounting for.
I am absolutely scared to see what happens when this movie comes out.
Yeah, it's gonna be a doozy.
It is going to be one of those things that we will either talk about for the rest of like film history as like the who is the fucker in Greek mythology that flew too close to the sun?
Um. Oh shit! I should know this.
Yeah, I should know this too. I also
Oh
went to public
no,
school.
Icarus.
Icarus. It will either
Yeah.
be one of the highest cases of Hollywood having its own Icarus story with James Cameron,
Yeah.
or it is the start of like Disney's next big movie franchise, whatever fucking they have planned for it.
Oh, where was? I don't think I actually saved it. Disney had a big shakeup with their CEO this week.
Yes, The Tale of Two Bobs.
Yeah. See if I can find that record. But yes, I agree. Um, it'll be kind of a bit of an acid test, you know, like can because the current climate amongst Disney is clearly not happy. They're
Yeah,
not satisfied with the current state. Bob Chapek was fired by Disney's board of directors Bob Iger is returning as Disney CEO. Yeah.
Can you believe that all this time we can blame Bob Iger for everything wrong with Marvel?
No, but I can hope.
No, we got to set the narrative right now. Come on.
Hmm.
So, besides the obvious, just not making enough money, what were the reasons they cited for removing Iger?
Oh, I just closed the article. I just wanted to find the names. I have no idea.
Fair enough.
I believe that was an aspect of it, but let me pull up this article. Let's skim it real quick. There is definitely more of it than that. But I would describe it as like vibes. Under Chapek, they didn't like the direction the company was going, and they didn't agree with it, and they wanted a different vision to lead it.
Fair enough. That must really suck to know that your replacement, you're getting replaced by the guy you replaced.
Yeah, yeah, they don't seem to have really say why, but I get the feeling just seeing the conversation about it. It's just they're not happy with the tone that's being set. Talking about, uh, the way the company is being run doesn't seem to align with their personal idea, at least for the boards, of how it should be ran.
I can see that.
Because it seems to be not like a shareholder thing; it's a board of directors thing. Well, Disney is always going to be profitable.
I
The copyright law changes will continue until finances improve.
mean, I was actually about to bring that up.
One other thing I wanted to mention, Tony Gilroy, the director for Andor, put out a statement, not really a statement, but part of an interview talking about criticism that people had of Andor being slow and boring.
Okay.
And I really appreciated this because it shows the very different approach that they took to this that makes it work compared to a lot of the other TV shows that we've seen come up on these, streaming only type of things that really haven't.
Hmm.
So, I'm just gonna read this whole thing because I think the whole thing's good. That's some old shit, man. Everything, all of this shit is new, which is just really fascinating to be at the frontier of this new kind of storytelling, this new kind of scale. I heard that comment along the way, even when we brought the episodes into Lucasfilm and Disney. I don't want to piss this guy off, obviously, but I wonder if he feels the same way now. Because do you really think that you'll be able to appreciate what happened in episodes 8, 9, and 10 as much without knowing what happened back in episodes 1, 2, and 3? You're absolutely enriched by it. It's like you go to watch a car commercial and they pull out a flag and a puppy in a truck and you go, oh wow, the music's right, and you feel really something for a moment. But you walk away and you never think about it again. It's this empty calorie thing. If you really want to feel something, if you really want to have something that lives with you, the requirement for that is that you really care. You need that investment that you made in the early episodes. I don't think I was like poking around. It's pretty exciting, but I think it's a ripping yarn. It's an adventure story all the way through. But knowing Cassian is that kid who beat the shit out of that console in a flashback as a child after they killed his friend, and knowing that rage is in him, it's really important. The idea that you have to wrap up every episode in a bow, and the old traditional thing was, oh, your first episode has to be your seventh episode. I've heard all that shit my whole life. But as I said, I'm a disruptor. I'm going this way. There's times where you really want to package things. There's times where the episodes that have better breaks and better drops than others. But I'm happy with all the ones that we have. I'm not unhappy at all with the time we've spent with all of our characters.
Nice.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we are developing a lot more of a tolerance for long form storytelling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad that who was it? Linus Tech Tips was talking about this because his kids are relatively young, born after the Marvel movie stuff really picked up. They were too young to watch it when it was first starting, and they were going back and rewatching a lot of them to sort of get caught up with it for his younger kids.
Hmm.
And going into it, he had been wondering, like, because he really enjoyed the earlier ones. And as an adult, he wasn't enjoying the current ones as much. And he always was wondering, oh, is it because the newer ones are worse or have I changed? And he went back and he rewatched them and he was just like, no, the new ones just aren't as good. Because the old ones are still really, really great. And you can go back and enjoy that. Yeah. I'll be surprised if the dueling bobs changes all that much in the short term, but we can always hope.
We can always hope.
Yeah.
Maybe they might just let the effects artists get a break as a treat.
Yeah, as a treat. I am curious. Do you know about the way that Disney has started to do their filming stuff for their TV shows? Instead of using green screens, they use the big like in like dome of monitors basically.
It's so cool. I want
It's
to like
really
work
cool.
in that.
I'm really interested to see if how they're able to continue to leverage that, right? It doesn't necessarily work in something like the Marvel films where there's so much movement.
Mm-hmm.
It makes a lot of that impractical. But for the Star Wars stuff being relatively literally grounded, it's very effective at building these incredible landscapes and vistas and having them look amazing without having it be a massive post production task.
I also think it's better for the actors, in my opinion,
Hmm.
to be around that
Yeah,
space rather
because you
than
get
the
to
big,
act.
yeah, rather than the big fuck you green screen of doom.
Yeah,
I want them to start employing that to like the Marvel movies a little bit more, but like you said, there's a lot of action in those and it'd be hard
it's
to do.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would as well, and I'd hope that see, that's the problem. Is like it's like all right, I'm like running through all of the various characters, right?
Yeah.
And almost all of them, or at least one character in all of the franchises, has either some amount of verticality, or they can just go shoot on location somewhere,
Hmm.
or it's like shit like Ant Man, where it just literally doesn't work.
We've
I
got
don't know.
one more Ant Man to get through, Kyril.
Like the obvious one that I thought of was just like, oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, because they're all relatively regular people, but then they also just like fly around kind of whenever they need to. And it's like, oh, no, it doesn't work.
Spider Man, duh.
Yeah, he's never off the ground.
Yeah. I guess you could make an argument for Captain America at one point, but now
That's
we,
kind of what I was thinking too. But then he's almost always only on Earth, and you can just like, oh, where's Captain America? He's in fucking Berlin. Okay, let's go to Berlin, and we'll just film there.
yeah, and now like that Falcons Captain America. Well, now we have the verticality
Oh well,
back.
yeah, yeah, that's true.
The Thunderbolts. Can any of them?
Thunderbolts.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
I really feel like we need a character in the position of where Captain Marvel is right now that has an excuse to go to these clearly alien planets where those alien planets are normalized.
mm,
Because that is a really strong thing with Star Wars that lets that technique work is that they are building these mostly alien planets that aren't alien to the characters. You don't need to explain the location, you just need to have it be believable and it'll explain itself. And that's where a lot of the current roster of Marvel characters tends to fall apart is that, like with the most recent Ant-Man movie, you have an example of that where in theory it could work. You have these characters going from Earth to the fucking micro dimension, whatever, and you have that opportunity for people that are relatively grounded and interacting with their environment where that environment is alien. But these are the first time these people have been in that place, and you're going to have to explain that place to them to then also explain it to the audience.
Hmm.
And it doesn't quite flow appropriately once you get to that point.
I think there's also this weird thing going on with the MCU, um, where when you read Marvel comics, you're kind of knowing what you're getting into when you read a certain book. You kind of need to know the character's lore to fully appreciate what's going on in there. Like
Mm-hmm.
when you are reading a Thor comic series, you don't need to be constantly reminded where what the nine realms are. So you can just like go
Yes.
from Asgard to Nibelheim. Yes, I am a comic nerd. Thank you all for noticing that. Um, to the Dark Elf dimension, and you can just have them
Mm-hmm.
do this pretty relatively easy because
That's a great example.
yeah.
Yeah.
But when you do the movies and you can't always vouch for anybody being able to, you know, follow all this constantly,
Mm-hmm.
you kind of do have to set up that expectations of reintroducing a location constantly because let's be frank, if we have a Thor 5 and they decide to go to Nibelheim, we were only in Nibelheim for like 20 minutes in the first movie and that's it. There's going to be a lot of re-explaining to do immediately.
I disagree.
Why?
And I think that's one of the strongest points of the current Star Wars franchise is that they don't need to explain their planets. They use uh, imagery that allows us to draw our own, use our own lived experiences to recognize similar things that let you infer enough to get the idea of what's going on without explicitly stating, oh, this is the tourism planet. This is the casino planet, right? Like in Star Wars, they can go to the casino planet without being like, this is the casino planet. They do gamblings here.
Mm-hmm.
You see the visuals and you're able to make that connection on your own. And it lets them focus on the story that they're actually telling without having to do a big exposition dump, right? You let the scenery itself do that exposition for you. And I do get that Marvel has kind of put themselves into a hole
Yeah.
where they can't help but to do that because they've established that as kind of just the way that they do storytelling. But I don't think it is as effective as the way that the Star Wars groups have been doing it, where they let the planets tell their own story through showing you how they operate.
Yeah.
It's the same thing that we were talking about last week with the Black Panther stuff, where getting to see how these cultures develop and how they build themselves and their communities is far more effective than being told about those communities.
Yeah. I think that the problem with the MCU is that everybody's kind of anticipating to join in at all times. Well, that's what they're
Mm-hmm.
anticipating.
Yeah.
And I wish,
Yeah.
because we get like what was it, 6 years between a Doctor Strange movie, 6 years between Shang-Chi movie. We
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of time where we are away from some of these characters, and unless they come over in a crossover movie, we don't really get to flesh out their worlds too much. I want more of the world fleshing. That's what makes Marvel so enjoyable to me in the comics. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I wish we could do way more of the world that I kind of believe Marvel is, where you have like all these different like sections of what the Marvel universe, and you can kind of tell where you are at all times based off like how familiar you are with a character, knowing what area they're going to typically go to, and then you can kind of just start deducing where you're at all times. Like
Yeah.
going back to Nibelheim, um, Thor location. Do you know that which one that is on top of your head, Carol?
Not at all.
That's the frost giant planet with the
Okay. Sure.
where Loki's
Yeah.
from. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, I don't think they even tell you it's Nibelheim in the movie. I, it's just it weighs on me a little bit like that
Mm-hmm.
because it's such an integral part of like the Thor Marvel lore in the comics that I
Sure.
wish we can get more time there. And the Thor movies are kind of just all fucking over the place at the moment. Um, because like after Dark World, we went to Ragnarok, which was cool, but
Yeah, that was cool.
Love and Thunder is
But
more like Guardians esque as well. I get the
Mhm.
feeling Taika wants to do a Guardians movie, but they keep just giving him Thor. And
No, Taika, we already have a James Gunn. We don't need two.
he desperately wants that. Um, so to me, I wish we had more of that world building aspect, like we've been kind of talking about. And I think that the fact that these are movies and not a TV show prevents us from doing that. And I thought when we got Loki, we would get more of that world building aspect because he's literally going all over the place. But I'm severely disappointed by like the MCU like television universe stuff not going too far into the world building. It's all been kind of just generic locations so far.
Yeah.
Any further thoughts?
No, I don't think so.
Cool.
We can go to new releases.
There's new releases.
There's a couple.
It's a Thanksgiving miracle.
It is. It's like it's a holiday season or something.
What the fuck is the holiday season?
Let's start off with Disney's Strange World,
Oof.
which is like relatively, or I guess like when you look at it, when compared to other movies, it's doing fine. Compared to Disney movies, it's not doing well.
Yes.
Uh, so we talked about this a while ago, but Strange World is it has a bad description on Rotten Tomatoes. To Wikipedia, Wikipedia, Wikipedia. There we go. So, a legendary family of explorers must set aside their differences as they embark on a journey to a mysterious land inhabited by surreal life forms in order to save a resource called the Pando from losing its energy power source. Strange World takes inspiration from pulp magazines, popular fiction from the first half of the 20th century. The film also pays homage to older sci fi fiction films such as Journey to the Center of the Earth and King Kong. In addition, the land of Avalonia was given an orange and white color stream to contrast with the titular Strange World, as the filmmakers chose red and magenta. To communicate non-verbally, several animators worked to create the movement of the character Splat. Okay. So yeah, going through, oh, that's like the full plot. But yeah, I mean that's the gist of it. You know, it's a Disney animated movie for families. And that's kind of the problem, that it's not anything especially more than that. It's fine. It's visually appealing, but in terms of the actual story, it doesn't do anything new. And
Yeah.
has resulted in it having the worst audience score for a Disney animated film, I believe, ever,
Damn.
for like a full theatrical release. You could look at like direct DVD stuff that I'm sure is worse, but for something getting a full theater release, it's at a 60%, which is like not bad, but it's not good either.
So is this
And it
movie
didn't
just
even get
so
a.
bland it's offensive?
It's not even bland. It's just unoriginal.
Mm.
They seemed to probably expect the very surprising visuals to pull more weight, and it is not enough. It's a very visually interesting film, to be sure. It's just also not got much meat to it.
That sounds about right. It really strikes me as a movie that was rushed out for the Disney Plus like streaming schedule release dates.
Maybe is it even on Disney Plus? I'm sure it is. You can probably like pay to watch it on Disney Plus.
Ew.
But yeah, that's kind of the most notable thing about it, is that it's actually not doing too hot.
Well, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think that they really anticipating that movie doing well.
Curious. Let's see if I can find a list of all of the Disney animated movies on Rotten Tomatoes just to see what their scores are.
Okay.
I'm curious, like, how do they all rank up, right? Pinocchio has 100%. Okay.
Wait, which Pinocchio?
The Pinocchio.
The original?
1940, yes.
Oh my god! If it was that live action remake that they made just to kind of like bank off the public domain notice, I was gonna be pissed.
Yeah. No, no, not quite. Uh, I'm skimming now. See if I can find something less. Anything even close. It's all actually pretty high up. Even Bolt did pretty good.
I forgot Bolt existed.
Yeah. Like here's a good perspective as to how highly rated almost all of these films are. Mulan, 1998, has an 86% critic score and 85% audience score and is ranked number 28. Yeah,
That's
they uh
unfair.
they don't really miss. Okay. Here is I guess we're once you get past 30, there's a couple that start to stand out. Disney's Teacher's Pet from 2004.
I forgot that even existed.
Yeah. It's apparently how long even is it? Is it even a feature film?
I think
No,
it's
it
like a
is.
TV. Oh, it
It
is.
had a full release. Like it's not. It's an hour and 13 minutes, so it's not like it's anything special. But it's not. It's not a short.
Mm.
Is the key distinguishing factor, I think. Uh, Closest we've gotten so far is Ducktales the movie.
Oh
Here we
yeah.
go. Rescuers Down Under is pretty close to it. Treasure Planet does not deserve to be number 48. What the fuck? I take offense at that.
I
Treasure
noticed
Planet's a
the offense
banger.
in your voice.
Dinosaur 2000. I forgot about that one. Oh man, that was not great.
These are regrettable, nostalgic memories you're giving me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, here we go. Animation. Graphics design is my passion.
Is it?
Oh my god, these look so bad. I love this. These
You
are
know,
atrocious.
since we don't have any good records what dinosaurs look like, they could have looked like this.
I mean, I guess. I think we know what like sand looks like though. What volcanoes look like. It's just the fact that it's so very obviously like two layers going on here, you know?
So, have I ever told you my weird story with the dinosaur?
So
It was like playing on television once when I was a kid. We were watching it on like ABC Family or something like that. And all of a sudden, our emergency weather siren goes off in Nashville. And my dad turns on the news. There's a fucking tornado like going around. It goes right through our front yard. And I'm just trying to be like, okay, can we ignore that tornado and go back to watching the dinosaur movie? And this thing caused so much damage, it destroyed like half the high school that was like right next to us. So every time I see this movie, I'm like, yeah, I could have died in that.
okay. I'm sorry to inform you that this list is complete bullshit.
Oh, why not?
Uh because Rotten Tomatoes is dumb and wrong.
Oh,
Lower than Dinosaur 2000 is Pocahontas, Atlantis the Lost Empire, and fucking Brother Bear.
what?
Brother Bear is amazing.
Brother Bear's okay, but it's like it doesn't belong that low.
It's I I don't know. Brother Bear is one. I didn't even realize it was a Disney one. It's probably one of my favorite animated films.
What?
It's really good.
I don't know. I don't have that strong of opinion on Brother Bear of all things, but go on.
I'm very strongly opinionated on it.
What is it? Is it the Phil Collins music that does it for you?
No, I just think that it does a really good job of being of it shows a relationship dynamic that almost all Disney films don't,
Hmm.
and it does it good.
I don't know.
And
Like,
and the mooses are very funny.
I'm not. Mm. I don't know about those mooses, man.
That's fair. It seems like I don't know. 37% critic score though seems like just wrong.
I don't know. I don't know. Brother Bear is okay to me. I think the story needs work.
It's fine. That's fine. I'll fight you to the death later. It's fine.
Yeah, okay. 1v1 me, bro.
No,
Yep. I don't know if you noticed this, but my Discord picture is literally me kicking Bill Gates into a volcano.
I didn't notice that, but that's quite good.
Thank you. The things I do when I'm lonely and I have Photoshop on save free things.
Photoshop is a dangerous drug.
Isn't it?
Do they talk about this article, like how they rank these?
Nostalgia.
Oh, okay. So they did certified fresh first and then fresh. That's why it's kind of fucking weird. I can't believe they have Pocahontas as rotten.
It's okay. It's not rotten.
I mean, that's what I mean, though. These are like they gave them a rotten rating,
Hmm.
and that seems wrong to me.
I agree.
Let's talk about other movies. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. You mentioned this one.
Hell yeah.
Apparently getting a theatrical release. I didn't realize.
Yes. It is a Netflix exclusive, but it is getting like a full theater release and everything like that.
Mhm.
I am super excited for this. Del Toro is one of my favorite directors. I could not be more excited for like a stop motion movie done by him.
Yep. Yeah, he is very talented for sure. And seeing that it's like actual stop motion and not just like CG stop motion is very cool.
I also appreciate
Underappreciated.
how creepy he made Pinocchio look.
Hmm. It very much looks like what would happen if you tried to like hand carve a dude out of wood and you didn't get to finish.
It's so creepy. I love him. Don't talk bad about my son. Anything else?
Yeah. Uh, Devotion came out this weekend. It is a Korean War film. And I
Ooh,
wanted to mention it just because that's kind of notable that
that's.
we're kind of starting to get into the territory where films of the Korean War are something that we're seeing.
I was about to say that's one of the wars they don't let us talk about in school.
Yeah. No, not really. It gets like a couple paragraphs at most.
It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta go fight the satellite state for Russia because it's communist, automatically making it a satellite state.
Yep. But it is doing well. I'm interested in seeing it just from that perspective of it being, a war-based film of an era that hasn't really been represented in media.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it does seem like it is both relatively accurate to the truth of the story that they're telling. Within a point, it's been embellished to be more dramatic, of course. Um, but yeah, it's doing relatively well. People seem to be liking it that have seen it. An aerial war epic based on the best selling book of the same name tells the true story of two elite U.S. Navy fighter pilots during the Korean War.
Hell yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
And last, but certainly not least, we have Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery.
I really want this to be just like a film franchise with like title,
Mm-hmm.
then a Knives Out mystery.
I do too. If they can take this and do it's at least currently, kind of the closest we've had to a film equivalent for the Sherlock Holmes books.
My thoughts precisely.
Yeah.
I want to see this so bad. I still need
Yeah.
to see the original Knives Out. It just
Out in
looks.
theaters.
Sorry?
Oh yeah, no, go ahead. I say it's out in theaters, but available on Netflix near Christmas. Looks like.
That's what I'm looking right now. I'm on my Netflix trying to see if I can find it. Um, it's just a slick, stylish looking film, and I can appreciate Ryan Johnson, unlike some
Yes,
freaks. And
this is far and away the best type of film for Ryan Johnson's directing and writing style. It just these sort of mystery murder type things just really mesh with his very twisty turny style that he tends to go with.
yeah, Ryan Johnson's good in the sense that he wants you to always stay on your toes.
Hmm. And Daniel Craig does a killer Southern accent, and I hope he keeps it up with this.
Daniel Craig does a southern accent.
Yes, he does.
I'm scared
You got
now.
to see the first one. It is so good.
Uh,
He does an amazing job, far better than I thought it was going to be. Because when I saw the first one, I didn't know going into it that he did the accent, and it is like completely unexpected from anything, as far as I know, that he's done before. It's very
Interesting.
good.
Okay, okay, I'm all for it. Can't wait
Hmm.
for like Knives Out 56.
That's everything I've got.
Beautiful. Then I think that's everything I've got. Any last words you have for the nice people at home, Mr. Kyril?
No, no, not so much. Coming off the Thanksgiving weekend, everybody keep safe, get home if you're still traveling. Try to not abuse the hardworking people at the Black Friday sales that never stop.
I missed out on Black Friday this year, and I'm very sad. I'm Mr. Ryan. I've been a Schmo,
And I've been Ishmael.
and this has been the Two Schmo Show, baby.